Texas cities, an 80-mile drive, but it's a distance that can feel greater when it comes to luring in certain types of companies and investment. Tesla, Samsung, and Apple are just a couple of the high-profile businesses Austin has attracted investment from. While San Antonio hasn't scored such flashy names recently, it does get some of its own national attention.
San Antonio being a major international trade hub, right, especially with our economic and social ties to Mexico.
Cost of living has become a more and more important factor for businesses.
Austin does much better than San Antonio in drawing in external companies into the region.
I'm Erica Zucco, and this is Commerce Street, an Eyewitness News original podcast. In this episode, we're looking at the benefits both San Antonio and Austin bring to the I-35 corridor and how each city can learn from each other. We spoke with Dr. Taylor Collins of University of the Incarnate Word here in San Antonio, as well as Dr. Michael Surrey, a lecturer in finance at UT Austin, to find out what growth looks like up and down I-35. Dr. Collins first told us how San Antonio's economy stands out from the pack. So first, just kind of focusing in on San Antonio a little bit. Over the past maybe 5-10 years or so, what have we seen emerge as really some growth areas of our economy in terms of jobs and just overall industry?
So one of the interesting ones is historically, San Antonio's had a relatively low manufacturing sector relative to other metro areas. And in the last decade or so, that really has turned around. We have seen substantial gains within things like manufacturing. We've seen gains in things like cybersecurity, where we've really been doing well and getting a lot of defense contracts that have been helping out to build this industry out. We've always had the tried and true ones, the tourism, military, healthcare services have been around for a while. Those have been relatively stable, whereas more recently, some of these other industries like manufacturing that we've struggled with for an extended period of time have finally started coming around and been a little bit more positive for the region.
What kind of momentum are we seeing in San Antonio in terms of companies coming here? Are we seeing a lot of interest in our economy, or has it kind of stayed the same?
There is interest. I would say more of the economic growth in San Antonio is from within the region, less of it coming in from external places. Just for comparison, Austin does much better than San Antonio in drawing in external companies into the region. But there are certainly instances in which we've been marginally successful at drawing in some of that outside interest. We have very high population growth rates, and corresponding to that is a very strong, steady economy. But I would say in aggregate, we are probably more self-generated economic growth compared to external folks moving in relative to some other metro areas that we might be competing against.
Meanwhile, Surrey spoke about the undeniable benefits of Austin that catch the eye of investors.
I think one of the biggest things that businesses are interested in Austin is the access to a diversified talent pool. We have a very strong skilled labor force supported by a strong higher educational system that's anchored by UT Austin. And having access to students graduates who are skilled in technology, business, engineering. These are all very attractive to businesses that are coming into the Austin area. In addition, because of the many incentives that are offered by the state, there's been a lot of attractiveness to bringing business into Austin and Texas in general.
Looking at the whole kind of South Central Texas region, are we seeing a large amount of economic growth right now, and specifically in what industries and why?
Yeah, most of the economic growth has been coming from technology, financials, business services, and now that COVID seems to be getting slightly under control, we're seeing a resurgence in leisure and entertainment activities. And so these are the three that have really been a base of strong growth for the Austin area, especially in the last 18 to 24 months. And those trends are expected to continue.
Both professors mentioned how each city can complement the other and benefit from growth. How do we perhaps see Austin and San Antonio's economies impacting each other? Do companies think, hey, I'm going to move here because we've got both of these cities? How does that kind of work?
Long answer on that one. So front end idea, both cities are experiencing rapid economic growth, economic and population growth. So just from having more people in each, there's more opportunity for economic interaction between them. People don't like to stay in the same place forever. We like to travel. We like to, experience different locations. San Antonio folks hop up at Austin all the time. Austin folks come down to San Antonio all the time. Really significant opportunity for tourism back and forth between the two. More specifically, we would see, for example, Austin is a major innovation hub, right? We're seeing a lot of investment in new innovative technologies. And San Antonio has a very strong cybersecurity sector, right? There's a very strong possibility that as Austin innovation continues to develop, we could see them working with San Antonio cyber groups to help protect this new work that they're developing within this really digital age. So we can really see a mutual benefit there. We see a lot of research projects coming into San Antonio through this military and healthcare sector. And to the extent that there is opportunity to overlap with Austin-based, UT-based researchers, I think that's a good chance for mutual feedback. And I say maybe most significantly for the city of San Antonio, Austin is the single biggest venture capital hub in Texas. Over 60% of all Texas venture capital is running through Austin-based firms. So having close access to that capital really opens up opportunities for San Antonio innovators who are looking to build up new businesses and expand operations in the region.
I think the biggest thing is to have a favorable business climate. That is, our state has really gone to great lengths to support businesses that are coming in, that are trying to think about making investments in the area. Both Austin and San Antonio economic regions have offered significant economic incentives for businesses that are looking to relocate headquarters to either metropolitan area. There are both state and local incentives that are offered. I think investments in infrastructure are very important as we're seeing roads, supporting businesses, healthcare, transportation systems. All of these offer a holistic benefit to businesses that are coming in. In addition, having access to that talent pool, I think, is very important. In our current economy, where taking COVID out of the picture for a moment, unemployment rates have been very, very low, especially in Austin and in San Antonio. Having access to skilled labor is a challenge, and being able to draw upon the resources of a University of Texas or Texas A&M, the community college system, those are very attractive to employers who are looking to pick up skilled labor.
When you look at maybe Austin, for example, 50 years ago or even 30 years ago, so much different than today, and it kind of almost feels exponential. Mm-hmm. Does one company starting there, does starting a big tech workforce somewhere exponentially build? Can you kind of talk to me about, how that develops over time?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up that analogy. I think if we look to Silicon Valley as an example, say 30, 40 years ago, we look to Fairchild Semiconductor or Intel as being some of the anchor companies that really helped spur growth in the region. In the same way, we had here in Austin, IBM, we had Dell, Apple. Many of these companies have now supported growth in the region and are attracting other businesses to sort of build an ecosystem around it. And so we are definitely seeing that happen. Again, I would point to higher education as being a very important factor. The University of Texas, for example, has spurred a number of initiatives that have helped make investments in innovative technologies, transformative technologies, engineering, small businesses. And these are the kind of incentives that help draw new businesses and entrepreneurship into the region to support the existing structure.
Opportunity for Austin in particular to benefit from San Antonio's strategic location. San Antonio being a major international trade hub, right? Especially with our economic and social ties to Mexico. As Austin-based businesses are looking to expand their footprint to international territories, there's a very strong opportunity to use San Antonio as kind of the middleman of that operation. Over 50% of all goods that travel from the United States to Mexico are going through San Antonio, right? So our location as that major trade hub really opens up opportunities for Austin to potentially expand their access to international consumers along the way. The financial service sector in Austin is extremely strong, going to be something that allows San Antonio access to easy capital. The business environment in both are very favorable. So there are going to be instances in which San Antonio and Austin are competing with one another to try and bring in, these external companies. That's one area where Austin, again, has been a little more successful than San Antonio has. I'm excited about the possibility that both areas can help each other grow. I don't want to rule out the possibility, and one mild concern is Austin being an area that has very high levels of human capital, a very highly educated workforce. From the San Antonio perspective, there's a potential concern that they could operate as an economic vortex in the area and kind of suck in a lot of that economic growth that hopefully we would like to see come here instead. So that kind of works, in the opposite direction of what we're maybe looking for of mutual benefit. But just wanted to raise the possibility. As Austin continues to grow stronger and stronger, the hope is that that supports San Antonio growth as well. We can't rule out the possibility that it might provide some barrier to attracting new firms into the San Antonio area, as it really serves as this innovation hub that's drawing in a lot of outside interest.
So to avoid the vortex, is that terms of growing skilled workforce and infrastructure? Is that kind of like
that would be a big one, right? One of the biggest shortcomings of the San Antonio economy relative to the Austin is we don't have nearly the education level in our workforce that Austin does. So across all of Texas, the average or the rate of the population that has at least a bachelor's degree is about 30% of adults over 25. In San Antonio, that's closer to 25%. In Austin, it's close to 50%. So there's a big disparity in the extent to which high-level education has reached these different regions. And that's kind of the main thing we're looking at. Is one of the reasons that Austin is better at bringing in outside firms relative to San Antonio. It is that high skilled labor force, right? So one of the things San Antonio needs to focus on in the long run is really developing out our education systems, building up that high skilled labor force so that we can be more competitive for some of these folks coming in from external regions.
Cost of living has become a more and more important factor for businesses, again, as they look to having good workforces that are going to be stable over time. And I think what's happened in the Austin area is there's been such a strong demand, and it's kind of exceeded the capacity for what Austin can offer. Now, Austin is making investments in improving its infrastructure and continuing to expand its activities. But where we see a real benefit to San Antonians is the fact that the cost of living is so substantially different. In many sectors, it can be 20 to 30% less expensive to live in San Antonio versus in Austin.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Commerce Street. For more episodes like this one, including why Texas cities are attracting investment from the West Coast, search for Commerce Street on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, or visit kens5.com/Commerce Street. I'm Erica Zuko with producer Kristen Dean. Thanks for listening.